Okay, we're rolling. Yeah, the numbers are moving, so we are rolling. We're rolling here. Okay, this here's Big Al Nolram, the bombastic and bodacious mouth of the South, and curmudgeon at large from Beauregard, Alabama. Here to, this is going to be called the Requiem and Eulogy Ode to a Father Outlaw. Perhaps you've got a father outlaw. See, I'm his son. I'm his son outlaw, and he's my father outlaw. His body passed, and his spirit moved on, and so I wasn't able to speak at the funeral. And I had a little touch of laryngitis. Perhaps you still hear I got a little bit. And I tried to get my little tit-turd executive assistant to do it for me, and they wouldn't let him speak. I don't know why they was afraid he'd speak, what he'd say. But anyway, that's a good thing, because I figured that give me a chance to go ahead and put out this little YouTube video that anybody could watch anytime they wanted to, as many times as they wanted to. And so I'll go ahead and put this out. Now, I don't know how many horses there is, pardon my French, that you see in this picture. I guarantee you there's at least two, and then there's one you can hear but you can't see. I forget who that is. But anyway, I figured I'd let you know that I wanted to do this at the funeral, but it just wasn't going to work out. So this is going to be what I would have said had I been there, had I been able to say it. Okay, so we got that out of the way. The late great Joan Rivers, perhaps you heard of her, perhaps not. She said, if you can laugh about it, you can get through it. And so I'm here today to help you get through this. And we'll see if, because see, I understand that tears of joy and laughter wash away grief better than tears of sorrow. And so we're going to see about that here today. We're going to see how it goes. Let's see, now understand, some of you folks out there, I need to tell you, men don't cry, and they don't eat quiche. Men don't cry. Gentlemen do, of course, and women not so much, but ladies do. Sometimes gentlemen and ladies are so full of love, a little leaks out. And so don't be afraid here today or ashamed if a little love leaks out on you. Don't be afraid or ashamed of it at all. Because it may happen to me here. We'll have to see how it goes. Now, I'm going to take off on a little something somebody said a while back. Friends, Americans, and fellow Christians, lend me your ears and your eyes and anything else you don't need right now. I come here not to bury this old ornery carcass here, but to praise the soul and the spirits that's done escaped it. And believe me, it was falling apart on him, and I imagine he's glad to be rid of it. But anyway, he done moved on. Let's see. I was going to tell you this little story about stone soup that I remembered from my childhood, and because a little levity leavens the whole, or something like that. I heard that somewhere before. A little levity leavens the whole. I think that's the way it goes. But anyway, there's this thing called stone soup. There's these three strange fellas that come into town, and of course the townsfolk, they says, "Oh, I don't know about these fellas. They don't look too kosher to me." Now they probably gonna try to take everything we got. And let's keep an eye on them. And they went on into the town square there, and folks were kind of gathering around. And they says, "What you doing here?" Well, we come to make you, teach you how to make stone soup. And they said, "Really? Well, what's stone soup? I hadn't heard of that." And they say, "Well, you get this big old pot, and you put in some water, and you put in these stones, and you stir it up, and pretty soon it's just the greatest thing you ever had." And they says, "Really? I'd like to see that." And so somebody got them a big old pot, and they put a fire under it, and they got these three fair-sized stones, washed them off and everything, and put them in the water and began to stir the pot. And of course, after a while they says, "Well, it'd be a lot more aromatic if we had an onion or two to put in it." And of course somebody says, "Well, I got a few onions, and let me go get them." And they chopped up some onions in there, and it began to smell a little better than that. And they says, "Well, that hadn't got much substance to it at this point. If we had a few taters, it'd sure help out." And somebody said, "Oh, I got some taters. Let me bring them on." They chopped them up, put them in there, and before long, somebody found some carrots, and somebody else found a little piece of hog fat, and somebody else found a little piece of brisket or something like that to throw in there. Somebody had a chicken, Pretty soon they tossed a bunch of that stuff in there, put a put a little spice in it and everything, and it began to smell pretty good, and people was gathering from all around. They said, well, let's dish it out, and they dished it on out, and everybody had them a good meal, including these 3 fellas come into town, and, well, you can see what happens when everybody contributes just a little bit to the whole. How it can, now too many cooks spoil the sauce. You see, they only had one cook a stirring at a time, and they added the ingredients over time. So you can imagine how these fine ladies down here, my father outlaw's wife and his 2 daughters, you can imagine how they might be kind of like them 3 stones there, and if y'all descend on them at once, throw all these ingredients in at once, they may not, it may overwhelm them and stuff, and so if you just add a little bit at a time, because I know some of you are going to come out there and say, we'd like to send our condolences for the loss, for your loss and stuff. And that'll help them concentrate on the loss, but it's kind of better if they concentrate on the life that wasn't really lost, just moved on to a better place. And so if you go ahead and, kind of tell them a little story or something like that, add to the pot, if you got time on your hands, dang, the stuff to get off that there time. It's not like parsley, sage, and rosemary. They come off pretty easy. But that there time, sometimes it's tough to get off your hands and that. And so if you got time on your hands, just come around and add it to the pot, because you see, today is a stressful day, but there's going to be more stressful days in the days and weeks and months to come. And so it'd be kind of good if y'all come around, now and then, here and there, and check in and say hi, and have a little story to say about, how my father outlaw kind of, changed your life or made it more interesting to you or something like that. Whatever you want to do, that doesn't matter to me. Now, I'd like to tell you, see, some of you folks may know this all right. Some of you fellas out there may be PW'd. Yeah, he was PW'd, so am I, under the influence of powerful women. Yeah, you know that. I think some of you know that. See, every once in a while, like me, he'd have a little problem with PMS, powerful man syndrome. He'd think that he had it all together. He'd think, before long, one of them powerful women would set him straight, let him know he was PW'd. And so, that's kind of like those other little codes, every once in a while somebody will send me one of those FUs or FOs, and I was wondering what the heck they was trying to tell me, and so I looked it up in the good book, and I came upon something. It said, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, and we forgive others who trespass against us, And so then I knew what those codes were, F-U, forgive us or forgive you, and then F-O, reminding us to forgive others as we were F-U'd. And so remember that next time you get one of those little codes. Sometimes it's all on how you look at something, so you understand how it goes. Now, I don't know, I don't remember if I told you this before or not. I don't know how many, I think I told you about the horses derrieres in here and the fact that you're hearing one and seeing 2. Well, anyway, I don't know. My forgetter's been working overtime lately, so I never can tell what I've been saying and what I hadn't. Because some of the stuff, they tell you I'm full of crap, and so's everything else about me, and I say, well, that's probably correct. I can understand that. Sometimes they say you don't know your anus from a hole in the ground, and I said, well, you're absolutely true on that. See, a while back, me and my dear lovely wife, my dear sweet lovely wife, we was out at Yellowstone Park, and Old Faithful and I said, good Lord, is that my anus? I think I need to change my drawers. But that's okay. My dear lovely wife was there to tell me, yo, fool, that ain't your anus. That's a hole in the ground. And I said, well, thank God for that, because I didn't have a spare pair of drawers with me to change into. You see how all things work together for good, for those who love God, for those who are the called according to his purpose. I believe, I dearly love my God, and I believe I've been called according to his purpose to make you this little YouTube video. And therefore, you see, that was a hole in the ground and not my anus, since I didn't have a spare pair of drawers to change into. You see how that works? Yeah, the next time, so you remember that, the next time you hear somebody say, I don't know my anus from a hole in the ground, or something very, very similar, then you'll know that you'll be able to remember that Old Faithful is in Yellowstone Park. That it's always a good idea to carry a spare pair of drawers with you wherever you go, and of course that all things work together for good for those who love God, for those who are called according to His purpose. And so I hope you remember that next time you hear that little phrase. Now, see, the information I give you is priceless. It don't cost me nothing, and I just give it out to you for free. And of course, then again, you might put a value on it. You may put a value on it that's more than anything that anybody knows, which would make it priceless again. So either way, whether it's worth nothing to you or it's worth the world to you, it's still priceless. And so always remember that when somebody gives you something. Remember, it's probably priceless to you and them. Now, I probably done bored you to tears, and I'm trying to keep this little thing on to 15 minutes because YouTube don't like no videos out there over 15 minutes, and this is probably too long already. Ain't none of you gonna look at it anyway. Like all my other YouTube videos out there, ain't none of you looking at. But I wanted to pass on to you a little bit of wisdom that you see. Experience of your body combined with knowledge of your mind equates to wisdom of your spirit, which you give out to others. And so my father outlaw gave me this bit of wisdom a while back, and I hope you find it valuable in your life. He said, what was it he said? How did he put it? Oh yeah, I remember. Don't tell me. I remember now. He said, why don't you cut that crap out? You're making a daggum fool out of yourself. And I said, well, yeah, that's pretty good. Of course, now, sometimes that's pretty profitable these days to make a daggum fool out of yourself. I mean, just look at the country out there today. All the politicians and all that, they're making daggum fools out of themselves. They're making money hand over fist. But anyway, I just hope that bit of wisdom will help you out in your life. I told you at the beginning there, don't be afraid or ashamed to let a little love leak out now and then. Well, don't be afraid or ashamed to make a daggum fool out of yourself for a good cause now and then. Okay, well, I hope you remember that. I'm getting short on time here. I don't want to go over on that, and some folks said this wasn't the thing to do anyway, and so I need to get it out there a little. Let me end this up like I do all my little other YouTube videos out there. Ain't none you're looking at, like how to make the best cup of coffee in the USA today, or how to win at blackjack every day in the USA, or chipmunks water skiing and squirrels humping, that kind of stuff. Don't you pay no attention to them. But I'm going to end this like I do all those YouTube videos out there ain't none of you looking at. Bye-bye for now. Take care of yourselves out there. Don't be doing too much fussing and feuding. Be kind to each other. And above it all, God bless America. Thank you. Before I say bye-bye, be sure to catch part 2. You see, I was going to try to get this all in one. But be sure to check out part 2, which is the honor to a fallen comrade in military service. My father outlaw was a retired member of the National Guard, and of course, folks said that didn't mean he didn't have much for the military and that, but you see, the things you learn in the military stick with you your whole life, and some of you folks have been in the military, you know that. So anyway, bye-bye for now, and you catch us on the flip-flop. All righty, bye-bye, we're out of here.